Right, so before I guess I go into the detail of how the game engine works and the game works and all the scripts work, even though it's been a few years, I think I still sort of remember. You knock a block over and it knocks the next one, the next one, the next one, and basically that's rigid bodies. Unity does it incredibly well. Why reinvent the wheel when it already does it? And that works to an extent if you're literally just knocking some blocks over. Obviously, you can pick them up and turn rigid bodies off if you want. Things become more difficult when you want to get blocks to roll forever, or pause and then move, or land in a certain way. And I did touch on it, so I think I might create a little demo now to show why that doesn't work almost. So if we just make this is a platform. I'm not going to go and model every single little bit, not just the real basics of it. It's like so, and then there's probably another one. I can't remember exactly how it's set. Something like so. Let's just create some materials quickly. I should have done this beforehand, but I'll have a laugh when things go wrong. I should have made them a prefab. There we go. Don't know what I've made them there. Okay, right, we'll just make a basic cube. Obviously, I'm not going to set up everything about the block. Just want the absolute sort of basics of it. I hope you can hear me alright, because my laptop fan is blowing up. Let's just shut that down, I think. Let's just need to flat. So, block shader. Some bright red. This time I'll make it prefab by dragging it back in, which means just change it once and it updates many times. So I'll just space these out a bit. So if I was to make them rigid bodies and you knock one of them, it'll fall, knock, knock, knock. Brilliant. Game over. Level complete even. So if I just quickly do that. Okay, and how am I going to push them? Obviously I'm not going to build a character for this example, can't bother, there's no point, it's overkill. So we'll have this little thingy, that's my character, and on that, well, I'll just show you if anyone has ever played Rigid Boys before or not. If I just basically grab the sphere, and move it into it, it's not going to do anything, because it needs a rigid body as well. Okay, I'm going to show you it will not work. Put rigid body on, it's going to fall into gravity straight away. So, when you do put rigid body on, turn gravity off, kinematic so it doesn't go flying and whatnot, doesn't move under the physics, but it will knock into things. Freeze all the rotations, and freeze going to move the X, might as well. So if I move this in there now, when it knocks that one, it should knock them over, depending on obviously how hard you knock it in forces and whatnot. And it sort of does it. And obviously, if this had more mass to it, or there would be more of a nudge, it would do it. I'm sure you could figure that out with some code. And it does work, and it probably looks far more realistic if I set it up better than I have done it. That's all fine. However, it starts to, I did try this a while ago, it does start to get really annoying when you start to actually want more complex levels. So, say that's at the end, let's just, I don't know, move that like that. That guy's on the end there. And he needs to fall off and, there's one offset. Okay. So, knock this, fall off. This one needs to fall off, land in this gap. So if I just sort of make this front one. So basically, you want to keep, every block is sort of very regimented. It's every 2 units. It keeps the sort of, it makes everything flow better, especially the way I've done it, which I haven't explained yet, I know. But the point is, when this block falls off, it needs to fall over, land in this gap here. So imagine there was a block there. Let's just don't have to imagine it. We could actually do that, couldn't we? So it needs to land in between the 2 and then roll on to knock that one. Now to do that, it's got to roll over. Now physics will do that. Will it do it exactly how you want? And of course, I'm sure it actually won't first time or at all. So if we just knock into it, you can do that, can you? There you go. There's going to be enough force, I might have to fake it a bit and give it a bit more of a nudge. Come on. You can see it's set up properly, but okay. Now obviously that didn't work, so you could say, well, the height, this platform could be more here, so that block's going to land properly, you know, and knock into it, or there's some more friction or air resistance, or I don't know, you set limitations on rotations, or I mean, I guess we could give it a quick example, but I mean, the problems we're getting at the moment, I'm sure, can be fixed, right? You know, it could be maybe more like this. Oh God, see, that was a bit over the top. But anyway, you know, you could put limits on all this stuff, couldn't you? Point is, that needs to fall, and it almost did it. You could probably get there. I'm sure we could get there. But the point is, what I need it to do is land exactly there, so it's, you know, it's clean, and then knocks onto that one. Now, imagine we got that working, but imagine one of the levels there were no platforms there, and the next platform was there. How do we get this bloke? I don't know why I call him a bloke, but to rotate, you know, 180, I guess, as he's falling. You know, oh my God, you gimbal lock thing. Rotate all the way around. I can't even rotate an object here. And he falls and lands perfectly. Whatever the height of this is. So you'd have to start introducing some code to make that happen. And then when he lands there, would his physics allow, if we just change that, would it then properly rotate and have enough mass or force or anyway to knock into that one? Even if you could get to that point, other problems exist. So I really probably should have set this up beforehand. I think I mentioned in the previous video, or earlier, sorry, in this video, that there was an orange one, there was a pause one. So for example, if you rotated this one into that one, and this was a pause one, it would wait a second, if you like, and then it would roll on that way, and then this one, which would be on top, would, you know, roll over because you've moved it out of the way. Yes, you could probably do that with the physics engine, because maybe you could put, freeze your rotations, couldn't you, in a while, you know, a wait 4 seconds thingy, and then it rotates, and then when that moves out of the way, that one naturally under the rigid body engine would fall over. Okay, that could work. There's a green rolling block, one that rolls forever, and I did sort of get somewhere with that one, using scripting using the torque function in the physics engine, which basically means it will keep applying rotational forces. So it would do, I've got all the pivots up, so it would do that, and then it will rotate again, but it will move along, if you like. That's a terrible example, but basically it keeps on rolling. Like how a wheel would keep rolling, but this would roll along the flat sides of the cube sort of thing, and it looks quite cool. However, it's very hard to explain, but the length of this plus the sides of this, so 2 lengths and 2 widths, when it rotates, doesn't start to line up and collide exactly with the exact spacing, which is a bad thing because I don't actually got that spaced out properly there, with the exact spacing of each block. So as the harder levels progress and you get multiple blocks moving at once, which you do, it's going to get very messy. How as a level designer, are you going to know that someone can complete it if it becomes a bit of a sandbox demo where things can almost go anywhere and not break because it's, I guess, correct physics and stuff, but you know, you need to sort of force some sort of laws, if you like, it's probably the wrong rules, rules to make things happen. Now there are other blocks like splitters, exploders and bridges and all these sort of things. So yes, maybe I could have got there with physics, but I got a little bit scared. Maybe it was my naivety, or I don't know. I got a bit scared that if I got so far down making the game in this technique and you start some of the bigger levels and they start, imagine this block fell off the edge, fell all the way down here and landed on a platform, but the physics engine, as it's correct, it's not driven by a rule that I've made up, lands a little bit offset there when it shouldn't. That's really bad for me. It lands a little bit offset, so when it next rolls, it doesn't quite collide with the next block properly, which doesn't give it enough force to knock the next block, and you don't get the whole chain reactions. I mean, the whole point of the game is chain reactions. So I gave up on this one fairly easily, fairly quickly, sorry. So unfortunately, because the physics engine is very good and you get some lovely natural motions. So, my solution was to make in 3D software. To be honest, could have done it in Unity, but back when I started many years ago, I didn't really understand it. But basically, make a lot of animated clips of blocks rolling in various scenarios, which I will open up my actual Unity project and show you, and drive them via scripts based on the environment around them, like what's hit them, what it's about to hit, what it could hit, what, all the different scenarios. And then that as the blocks can only move by preset animations, everything's going to be clean, exact, you can predict when the next thing's going to happen. If it was a sandbox demo and you could do whatever you want, rigid bodies would be brilliant, but the game needs to be very clean and predictable. If you're not predictable, that when you push something, it's always going to be exactly the same, which is key. So you can go back and redo levels if you want to get better at them, do it in quicker times and whatnot. So let me load up my actual project and show you how I've